Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at the rather snazzy Inwin B1 Mini ITX case. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit of a weird one, possibly not for you guys, but it certainly will be for me. So in this video I'm going to be doing a product overview and a unboxing of this. Then we're going to stop the video, then I'm going to be doing a live build, which could go well. You can find the links to that up there, possibly, depending when you watch this video, if you want to see the whole thing through to the very end. Once the live build's been done and we've done some benchmarks and bench testing, then we'll come back and we will finish off this video and then give you my final thoughts. So yeah, slightly unusual setup, but hopefully it's going to work out for you guys if you're interested in purchasing yourself a mini ITX case. Now this is the Inwin B1, as I said. This comes in a black version. It's got a tempered glass top, plenty of ventilation, comes included with a 200 watt gold rated power supply, which is absolutely awesome. And you can pick up all of this for in and around the region of about £80 here in the UK, or around about $100. So on paper, seems to be fantastic, but is it going to be any good? Well, we'll certainly find out in this slightly elongated video. So first of all, let's look at the packaging. Packaging wise, yeah, pretty standard. Inwin are pretty good when it comes to recycling, all that kind of stuff, and minimizing unnecessary packaging. And this is no different. So we've got a plain cardboard box with Inwin logos and the B1 logo on the front there. On the sides, it discusses things like the extremely small footprint, the dual chassis positioning. So with this unit, you can actually have it in the upright position, or you can have it flat on all 4 feet, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Tempered glass top panel, as we discussed. It's got a built-in 80mm fan, which again, these days in cases, we do expect, especially in ATX, to have inbuilt fans, RGB, etc, etc. But for Mini ATX, it's quite a rarity to actually get any fans at all. So having an included fan is great. Also got the Inwin PSU included, and it's RoHS compliant. All well and good. So extra features there. So dual chassis positioning, as it says, and essentially it's just going for the same thing again. Let's take a look at the specifications on the back of the box. So for those of you that are watching from the overhead camera view, you can see this pretty easily. I'll try and get some B-roll up so you can see it a little bit clearer if not. But essentially the case type is a Mini ITX tower. Case materials, tempered glass and ABS plastic. Motherboard compatibility is Mini ITX only. No micro ATX on this one, unfortunately, due to its very small sizing. Maximum compatibility, so the CPU heatsink height is a maximum of 60mm. So if you're planning on using this with an AMD system, the Wraith Stealth cooler is absolutely fine. That's around about 50mm, so that'll be absolutely fine. Obviously you can put any cooler you want in there, just do take into consideration the 60mm limit. Front ports, we've got one USB 3.0 and a combo HD audio jack, so that's mic and audio. Internal drive bays, and that's quite an interesting thing. This has actually quite a lot of internal storage. You can fit two 2.5-inch drives, even though it is an extremely small form factor. So if you're making maybe some sort of media center PC, you can store tons and tons of files on those extra disks, or maybe even set up some kind of virtual NAS. Okay, the choice is down to your imagination, really. Thermal solution compatibility, it's got an 80mm side fan, which is the Inwin one, and is a 4-pin PWM. Power supply compatibility, it's the Inwin 200 watt PSU included, which is gold rated, as we mentioned. AC input, etc, etc, 80 plus gold. Got the product dimensions there, and the package dimensions, which I guess you're probably not very interested in. So that is pretty much it for the packaging. There's not really much else going on there, so best thing to do, take it out and take a look and see what we actually get. Okay, I do have to remind you, this is a very, very inexpensive micro ATX chassis. A lot of, mini ITX chassis. You can get some very, very expensive ones on the market. So under $100 or around about £80 in the UK, I think this offers a lot of value for money. And as per usual, it comes with the excellent Inwin packaging, which is always nice to see, so it's unlikely to get damaged in transportation. And there we go. What an absolute looker. Even just in the box with all the bits inside, it still looks absolutely brilliant. So quick tour around the actual case itself. So on the top, as you can possibly see already, got this really nice reflective dark smoke tempered glass top with the Inwin logo emblazoned on it. Now the reason they put it there is if you're having it sideways mounted, it's quite likely you're going to have it in some kind of enclosure. But if you are having it on display, you can actually display it upright like this, and then the Inwin logo makes total sense. So got this nice kind of ridge design all the way around, which actually does two things. A, it looks absolutely lovely, and also it helps with cooling. So in between these slots, it's all ventilated, so plenty of ventilation, and the way it's set up is designed so that you've got ventilation coming in from this side, which is the intake side, and then you've got the exhaust fan on this side. So it's designed to be a negative pressure system, which actually in these kind of form factors works particularly well. So on the front, we've got a single USB 3.0 port. We've got that combination jack for headset microphones. So for you gamers, if you're online gaming, that kind of thing, absolutely fine, or watching movies, etc. There is a very, very discreet power button, which is just there. Nice little clicky power button, which is really nice to see. On the side there again, we've got this ventilation area, which you can just about see on the camera angle there. You can just about see the 80mm fan showing through there. On the back, we've got our I/O section, so this is where your motherboard I/O is going to be. You've also got the power supply connection. It does come with a lead as well. Unfortunately, mine did come with a European style connection. Obviously, depending where you get yours from, it will come with the appropriate connector. The power supply is removable and is replaceable should you need to. You can get those available from inwin. Pricing, I'm not entirely sure on at the moment, but yeah, certainly it can be replaced. But being that it's 80 plus gold, it's unlikely it's going to fail anytime soon. Moving around to this side again, you can just like make out some ventilation. Again, hopefully I'll try and get some B-roll this so it looks a little bit nicer. And on the bottom, we've got these chrome finished feet with little rubber pads by the look of it, or by the feel of it. And also this section at the bottom is actually removable to give us access to our 2.5-inch drive bays. So you've got one screw there, undo those, this section comes off, and then you've got access to the built-in mounts. So let's take out the things that are actually inside and then we'll have a closer look. So this is the plastic stand. Now this is for those of you that are maybe wanting to mount this in the upright position. So this stand is pretty easy to use. Essentially, you just rest the PC on it. And there you go. So if you want to mount the PC in upright position, maybe on a shelf or maybe just on the corner of your desk or something, this is going to look absolutely brilliant. And also because you've got those quality fans in there, it's going to be very, very quiet. Obviously the noises are going to be generated mostly from the CPU fan. So depending on what CPU fan, that may make things a little bit louder. But because we've got this nice tempered glass side panel, that will tend to kind of muffle out some of that noise anyway. So that is it in the upright position. And as you see, works very, very well. You can remove these chrome feet. So again, you take the panel off, there's a screw in the back of that. You can take those off, and actually inside some of the accessory packaging, there are, if I can find them, you've got these replacement stickers. So when you take the feet off, you can put these over the side there to give you a really nice clean look. Well, we've got this out, we'll also take a look at the other items that are come included. So you get some cable ties in there, which is always nice to see, although most of it is pre-routed inside, but it's always good to have a few extra cable ties just in case. As is often the case with inwin, you don't get any instruction manual, but there is a QR code which you can scan to get full details on how to install it. But essentially it's very straightforward, and obviously if you're not too sure, you can watch our live stream, which we'll be doing shortly, and you can see exactly how it all goes together. Two extra things we've got here. So these are our screws. So you've got a set of screws there, which are for mounting your 2.5-inch drives in the bottom section. Those are special screws with little lugs on them, so they fit nicely into the tabs. Again, we'll see that a little bit later. And also we've got the standard screws there for mounting things like your motherboard, etc, etc. So everything you need is included in the packaging. You do also get, like I said, a power cable, which has got the kind of cloverleaf style on there. Again, this one has got the EU plug rather than the UK plug, so I will need to change that at a later date. And I think that is pretty much it for the inside. So let's take it apart and see what it's like inside. So starting off, let's take the top panel off. So I would suggest, because it's tempered glass, put something underneath it just to protect it slightly. And I'll try and get this so you can actually see what I'm doing. So with a standard cross-headed screwdriver, there's just two screws. One that side and one that side. And I'll put those to one side for now. And actually, to make taking the top off, to make it a little bit easier, they've actually added some tabs on the side. So there's a tab there and a tab there. So all you do is just apply a little bit of pressure and the top snaps off. And looking at the top again, you've got that lovely smoke tempered glass finish, which I do appreciate. And also you can see there is a ton of ventilation on that side. Hopefully you can pick that from some of the camera angles. But essentially you've got airflow going in one side and coming out the other. So yeah, really cool, like that a lot. Looking at the chassis itself now in a little bit more detail, so at the bottom we've got our 80mm fan, which is on a PWM style connector, so a 4-pin PWM, so you've got granular control over that rather than being voltage controlled. All your wiring is in here from the 200 watt gold rated power supply, and also there's a pair of SATA cables pre-wired in. You've got things like your HD audio connection, which has got a relatively nice long cable, so it should stretch around to wherever you need it on your ITX motherboard. And there is also a pre-wired header there, so that is for your front I/O, so hard drive LED, power LED, power switch, etc. So you don't have to fiddle around too much with those, which is really nice to see, a molded plug there. 24-pin power connector, pretty much the standard deal you'd expect to see these days. USB 3 connector, and there is also a SATA splitter there, which goes from the single SATA off of the power supply and goes into this splitter so you can power the drives on the bottom. You've got the power supply mounted here. That can be relatively easily removed with just a single screw there, so if you do need to take that, you can do. There is actually, I think, another screw. Yeah, there's another screw at the bottom there, so again, only 2 screws and you can remove that relatively straightforward. There is also a removable filter, which is just here, so a very fine mesh filter, and that has a purpose of 2 things. So A, it will remove dust and particles from the power supply, which is just here, and also the air coming into the rest of the system will also be filtered as well, so that's really good. You don't have a separate filter for the power supply. Again, you can remove that if you wanted to. There are just 2 screws holding that in place, so you can take that to wash it periodically should you need to. So if we flip this around now, and we'll take a look underneath at the drive mounting area. Again, just 2 screws. And put those to one side, and then this section just lifts off. So again, you can possibly see there is cross-headed screws there. So all you need to do is undo those. You can remove those feet and stick on the sticky pads to give you that ultra clean look. But for accessing hard drives, etc., if you want to install them, you've got the 2 pre-wired SATA ports there, so you can put 2 drives in. Also, there is a nice cutout there, so if you've got a motherboard which supports the rear mounting of NVMe style drives on the motherboard, you've got nice easy access. I really like the fact that they've included that. Rather than having to take the motherboard completely out to put your NVMe drive in, you can just gain access from the back. Once the drives are actually in there on those screws, they kind of squeeze into place and are held in kind of like on a friction base. If you want to remove them, there's a little tab there for both drives, and you just push that down and then you can pull the drives off of the SATA ports. So overall, actually very impressive, very easy to work with. Even though it is an extremely small chassis, they have taken a lot of care and attention to this, so there's lots of nice ways of actually working with it. I'm actually interested to see what the build's going to be like and see how we can manage these cables. Again, they are custom cables, so they are kind of pretty much cut to length, so you shouldn't have much extra to work with when you're doing your cable management. But hopefully you can see there is a pretty decent open area there for mounting your ITX motherboards in there. And yeah, I'm really excited to do this. So we're going to stop this video now, go ahead and do the live stream of the build, and then we'll come back with the build, do some benchmarks, and give you my final thoughts. So this is the part where the video gets a little bit weird. So at the moment we've done the introduction and we've also done the live stream build, and this is the end product. And actually, I really like it. Some people have said it looks like a massive Apple Watch, popcorn maker, all kinds of different things. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion on this, but me personally, I actually think this looks really stylish. I really love the darkened glass and the RGB lighting this is coming through it. We have made some changes that happened during the build and for various reasons. So we've swapped out the SSD for a different model, and also the RAM, we're now using the G-Scale RAM as opposed to the V-Color. We can't get the XMP to work on this particular motherboard with this particular chip. It isn't in theory supported. This is nothing to do with the case of the power supply, anything like that. It's purely down to a configuration issue, which is totally my bad. This processor is a 2200G, as we said earlier, and it is on a new B550 motherboard, so in theory it shouldn't work at all, but at least it's booting. We've managed to get Windows up and running, and I've done some very, very basic testing. We can't enable XMP on the memory, so I thought it was a little bit unfair to actually do any sort of real benchmarks because the processor isn't running at its full capacity. But what I thought I'd do is do some stress testing, full CPU loads, that kind of thing, and even under that, full CPU load and also running Unigine Heaven, left that running for ages, and the maximum temperatures we got were around about 79 degrees C on the processor. So for a small tiny little PC like this, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I've seen smaller versions of this, something like the ASRock, the A300, and they can get up to the 90s quite easily. So I think to be about 10 degrees below that is excellent, and also it is still pretty much whisper quiet. The fans don't seem to ramp up as much, and maybe they are, but I can't hear it, that's for sure. The glass does dampen a lot of that. We are using the standard Wraith Stealth cooler, and it seems to be doing a great job. I've only used a icy thermal pad, which again, you could reduce the temperatures a few degrees by using a better compound. And alternatively, you could change out the CPU cooler, which we possibly will be doing in some more follow-up videos as we go along. So essentially, temperatures have been fantastic. The lowest recorded temperature we've had on here is 26 degrees C on the processor, highest 79, and the clock frequencies 1597 has been the lowest, which is what we expect from this processor, and it has been going up to 3.698, 3.7, which is exactly where it should be. So everything is performing exactly as it should be. It is super quiet, and I think it looks absolutely brilliant. In this particular guise, I think it looks really nice. When I'm using it later, I will be using it in the flat setup like this, because it's in a kind of media center section. But still, I think it does look very nice. It would have been nice to have a slightly more open front to be able to see some more of that RAM, which you can just about see there. If I take the top off as well, you can get a better idea of what it looks like. The build itself was actually relatively painless. A few little teething problems, mostly down to our choice of motherboard, rather than the actual case itself. So we take the top panel off, and now you can see inside. So we've got our cable management section in the front here. So that's the main wires from the power supply. Well, actually, I'm getting a really cool blast coming off this fan off the side. So there's an 80mm fan there, which is connecting up, and we've done a little bit of tweaking with that in the fan profiles. Got the main CPU cooler, we've got our G-Skill RAM, and everything fits in there very, very nicely. One or two things which was a little bit disappointing. I couldn't connect up the front panel header for the audio, so we've left that disconnected. I generally won't be using that, but it would have been nice to have seen that cable being a little bit longer, because ours is actually right up in this front section, and it's just a little bit too short. Won't quite go around the memory without looking a little bit weird, so I've left that disconnected. Also, the power cable for the 8-pin EPS had to be routed around this section. Again, you can't really tell when it's behind its cover under the glass, but I know it's there, so it's a little bit annoying, but again, not a deal breaker. Probably if I spent a little bit more time, I could have probably cable managed it around this top section, but then it would impede some of the fan airflow, so I've rather taken it around the outside. This actually works fine. But overall, I think it looks and works brilliantly. It's certainly a massive step up from what I had previously, which was a very old AMD system, which I'll be glad to see the back of. But this is much more elegant, a little bit more future-proof as well, so I can slot in the latest and greatest 5000 or 4000 series processors from AMD. And with that 200 watt gold rated power supply, I know that everything's going to be super stable, and also we've got the wattage there to handle those newer chips. So overall, I'm very pleased with this. Again, thanks to Inwin for sending us a case for a product review. They haven't asked me to say anything, they haven't paid me in any way, shape or form, so all of my comments, both in the live stream and in this video, are completely my own. But yeah, overall, very happy. I do love Inwin's style. Also, again, thanks to the others that have contributed to this, Silicon Power, etc., and V-Color. Turned out to be a very, very nice system. So I'll put links for all the stuff that used in the video description, so if you want to build something similar, you can do from the links below, and they will be affiliated links, so we do make a little bit of commission on those if you buy. It doesn't cost you any more, but it does certainly help the channel. So I think that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. It's all gone together really nicely. The SSD's fitted in perfectly underneath, really easy to do. Yeah, overall, very, very pleased. So that's going to wrap this one up. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.